So I just wanted to do a video on something that I've only finally come to a completion on today. And it's funny that it's happening in like the 888 portal, the Lionsgate thing, which is supposed to be, a very, very powerful time for abundance and manifestation and all of these wonderful, powerful energies. And yeah, I finally feel like I'm closing a door on something that has been really preventing me from like accepting. I just heard a noise in my flat. Accepting new experiences and new love and into my life and abundance into my life. So yeah, I mean, I've always it's to do with relationships specifically. I've always told people, like my friends and stuff, that when somebody disrespects you enough, when they hurt you, or in abusive situations, there has to be a point where enough is enough. It's done. It's irreparable between the two of you. There always has to be that point. And even though I'm a firm believer in second chances, there are some things that are too far. And so I've been holding on to this idea of a second chance with somebody who ghosted me over a year ago now. And I'm finally realizing that it's too far gone for a second chance. And it's really amazing because I didn't really think I'd get to this point. I was always holding a space for this person, for if they ever walked back in to my life, we could see if we could be friends. We could see if we could mend something. We could see if we could repair and build something new. And I always felt like that space was going to be held for them because I value them a lot. I felt very, very connected to them. A lot of really interesting things happened as a result of our connection that really, really impacted me. I was really surprised actually how much this connection impacted me. And now looking back on it in a much more realistic, grounded way of how I feel now, not kind of hoping that they'll come back, it's like, wow, what a powerful connection. And I just saw 333, but such a powerful, intense, like quite spiritual connection, because I do really believe, and I'm sorry if I ramble about in this video. I tried to collect my thoughts about this, but it's just kind of coming out however it wants, so I hope it all makes sense. But I've always felt like people were like comets. We're going around the earth, and the earth, it's our home. It's our gravity, and it pulls us along. And I wish I had two hands, but I'm holding this with one hand. But like certain ones, certain comets, which we're the comets, they just kind of like, they meet each other, and you just end up in the same orbit, and you're like parallel to one another, and it's absolutely beautiful, and you're just orbiting the earth together, and perhaps for a lifetime or perhaps not so long, until one of them, the speed is different or something changes, but some connections, some soulmates that we have, including this one that I had or have on a spiritual level, it was more like we met and we absolutely collided into each other and just went on completely different tangents, different speeds, different orbits, but that connection, that collision was powerful, impactful. It changed, yeah, both the courses of our lives. I mean, I can't speak for them so much. I can't speak for them. I don't know their experience and how it's impacted them, but for me, it was really, really powerful and really surprising how much this did impact me. Because when I originally met this person, I really didn't see that much potential, like as a romantic partner, or as even like a close friend. I thought that they were really funny and silly and interesting and goofy and cool and attractive, and I was like, wow, this person's like funny and silly, but like I just felt more like intuitively I always felt like they weren't where I was at in my life, like maturity wise, like, and yeah, it was like more of a sexual energy at first that I was like, okay, I'm gonna like hold back because at the start I wasn't. I'm going into a lot of detail here, but fuck it, it's story time. Story time. Um, yeah, I was like distant and holding back, and I would see them on nights out because that wasn't where I was at. I wasn't looking for something casual. I wasn't looking to be in a complicated situation with someone who I didn't feel like we had potential to really develop and grow. That wasn't what I was looking for, and it isn't now either. Um, God, I hope I have enough charge on this. We'll find out. So yeah, I mean, I never expected much. Oh, my candle just went. I never really expected much from this connection. Um, but over time, we did become more aligned, and I really genuinely felt like it was a friendship was developing. And it seemed to be more than that, and it was really actually quite slow and wholesome and beautiful. But intuitively I still knew that this other person, they weren't able to communicate with me the way I needed to be communicated with, and I was kind of holding on and hoping that things would change. And then I thought that maybe if I communicated more, because I was also being quite, I know it's weird because I look back and there was a lot of things that I could have done so differently, and I was quite reserved. I think both of us didn't want to get hurt. And I did try, and because I realized that I did really like this person and that I was willing to give things a go, and like bear the risks of, you know, things possibly not working out, because I thought we could have worked through it, but it didn't work out that way. And to cut a long story short, they ghosted me. And it happened to be at a time when I was really going through a lot in my well, that is part of my personal life, but other things in my personal life that I'd never even spoke to them about, because I was very slow. I have been these days very slow to open up to people. So they had no idea what I was going through, and that's not really their problem. But the way it all happened, you know, it was a really, really, really intense time. I didn't feel like I had anyone. Genuinely, in the city that I live in, there wasn't anybody around at the time. like my closer friends, they were away traveling for months, and yeah, it was hard. It was a really hard time. But it taught me a lot, and you know, it made me, I went through so much, living on my own as well, and you know, I did end up having a bit of a mental health crisis, to be honest. And it was, yeah, a really, really intense, incredible, transformative time. And not just then, I mean, the last year and in general, so much has happened, and so much, I've gained so much from this experience, and from, you know, and really, really, really listening to my intuition more now. So much deeper than I ever have, because I know what happens when I don't. It all kind of goes to shit, you know, and for my greatest good, for me to learn and grow. So anyway, getting back to the point, I mean, I was going to talk about, there's so much to do with this, but I mean, it seems like a dramatic comparison, but when you're ghosted, and of course it's not in any way, it's not the same, but you can see how that term came about, being ghosted. It's genuinely like this person is gone, that it's like they're dead, they're missing. And so yeah, for a long time I've been holding a space for them to come back, and thinking that they would come back, and that we can, like I said, repair something, or a new connection with them. But now I'm realizing the amount of time that has gone, and I should have realized this before, but I've apologized for my part in things. I did reach out again to them after I'd realized a lot in myself that I could have done differently. And so after apologizing for that, and you know, for how long it's been, and for them to say, oh, that they're going to get back to me, and that and they really appreciated my message, and that they're going to talk to me, and they didn't reply again. And it's like, and of course from the outside looking in, it seems so silly. It's like, why would you wait for something like that? And you know, majorly it's because I've always believed in second chances, and because of how synchronistic it's been powerful. It's felt special and important, and I do usually, yeah, I hold space for people when we disconnect, so that we can maybe try again. But now I'm remembering and realizing, and I'm just gonna have to connect my charger while I talk right now. I'm just remembering, and I'm gonna grab that as well, that some things you can't go back from, and you shouldn't, you know. And it's not to say that that this person is an awful person. They're not at all. I think that they're wonderful, actually. I think that they're really special. And there could have been something between us, and we could have repaired, but there has to be a point where you just go, no. And it is a kind of a surprise it's took me this long, but I'm finally feeling that no matter how long now, if they ever try to come back into my life, that I will lovingly just decline this offer and be stubborn with it, because it brings me a lot of peace to really to feel like it's actually finally over and done. It's so peaceful now, and it's honoring myself and honoring them as well, because it's not nice to treat people like this. to ghost people. And even though I can explain other people's intentions to the ends of the earth, and I do actually fully empathize with this person or anybody who ghosts, because there's always psychological reasons, and you know, I understand, but at the same time, people aren't gonna learn unless they have real consequences. So it's actually doing them a favor to not ever let them back in my life. And not only that, it's like, would I ever want this to happen to me again? No, I wouldn't. It has been kind of traumatic, really. I mean, a lot has happened involving this whole situation that's not related to that, really, but they've impacted each other, the effects. But yeah, enough is enough. And yeah, I mean, I had some other notes about what I was gonna say, because there's so many aspects to this that I could talk about. I mean, I've started thinking and dreaming about polyamory again. So I had a polyamorous journey last year, and actually I don't think that I am gonna go on a polyamorous journey again, but just the kind of some of the ideas behind polyamory are coming back, in a sense that there's so many wonderful people out there, and I'm feeling much more sharing about this person as well. Like, I genuinely want them to be happy. I want them to find love. I want them to make better choices with somebody else that they find in their future. But it's not me. And also, yeah, finally, like, remembering for myself, yeah, there's so many options, and I deserve to not be treated like this. So yeah, finally being put to rest. Finally. It's been a long time. It has been a long time. Yeah.